Yeah,
That's on brand for St. Louis.
It is. Yeah, there was another like how much St. Louis sucks like big post where it was like St. Louis records 4 homicides and 5 shooting victims in first 3 hours of the new year. It was like, can it ever just be like St. Louis man invent something useful? You know, just something
invented
like that.
a gun with 4 barrels, Dave.
Exactly. I was going to say
Oh,
4 times the mass shootings of a normal psychopath.
Yeah, let me.
He has a hammer with claws on both ends.
They're calling it a sledgehammer.
A double claw, just a useless fucking hammer. Absolutely useless. Here, a video on Public Freakout went kind of not big, but it was reposted in our subreddit.
Shooting in the street,
and it's New Year's Eve in St. Louis.
Oh,
if you want to watch a little bit of this.
Yeah, this is.
You don't have to watch the whole thing because it's 6 minutes and 10 seconds.
There's so much violent gun content in St. Louis that it stretches to 6 minutes of highlights.
I'm ready to click.
Right, we'll check it out. St. Louis, Missouri. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Ready, set, play.
We outside with them,
Oh, he is like a. Cal, can you identify that gun? He's
got an AR-15 of some kind. Looks like he's been playing a lot of Tarkov. He's modded it out quite nicely.
Yeah, I can't tell my AR from my M4s or.
He's got a nice rail, got a nice stock on there. He's customized this bad boy out.
Can you tell the pistol? It's dark.
It's just firing into the air. Someone died.
Oh my god, they're just opening up Snapchat map things. That's so.
This guy goes full Yosemite Sam. Watch this.
Dude, this is very dangerous. They're in a parking lot.
Oh man.
Or no, that's just the street.
Who's shooting? What is?
They're just shooting into the air.
Are you allowed in St. Louis?
In some places, yes.
In some places, yes. No, you can't fire into the air.
No, really, you can.
Why?
Well, I mean,
really?
in this area of the city, no cops are going to come around and tell you to stop.
Oh, it's a quiet night actually on 4th Avenue.
It's a quiet night tonight.
So, Kyle, for people listening, which kind of gun is the safest to shoot in the air? I'm thinking shotgun, birdshot.
Yeah, you get a shotgun with birdshot, but the thing is that people don't understand. If you shoot it straight up in the air, there's not going to be a problem because the bullet's going to go up and it's going to do that thing like you see in the cartoons where it just comes straight back down. And the terminal velocity of most rounds is rather low. You'd be like, ow. The problem is people shoot at an angle, and so they carry their speed and inertia into people's roofs at this like rainbow kind of arc. Like if you were able to shoot straight up, but you're really counting on the person shooting a firearm in the street to have a lot of
well, it seems like even nearly straight up would be pretty good.
Nearly straight up is much better than 45 degrees.
No, I'm still watching the video.
They're still shooting guns.
Yeah, there's 6 minutes of this. It just keeps going. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess I could. I skipped through.
Yeah.
Oh, I
At no point do they say, "Y'all, we need to work on our life decisions." I applied at a technical school, and then they just light him up. Pop, 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 pop.
I think you guys want to go to 420 though.
420.
I know I do.
I'm ready. Oh yeah.
Give it some time.
I want to celebrate New Year's with this guy.
All right.
Kind of
and what's on the end of his gun?
That's a grip.
That's a Loudner.
A Loudner.
It looks like a banana peel.
What? You gonna hit who? I'm gonna hit Wells Fargo.
Gonna hit Wells Fargo?
If the security won't it,
He's shooting at Wells Fargo.
they don't even need a scope. They don't even need a scope.
I gotta say,
this guy look, it blows right through the stop.
They don't need a scope.
Stop sign while he's
talking about a no scope. He's talking about no scoping.
He's got the pink Taurus. This is his girlfriend's gun. Oh, it was a girl. She had nails.
No, different person.
No, that was a girl.
Yeah, that was a girl at first. This guy's.
You gonna hit Wells Fargo?
Everyone just chills with their gun on their lap like that.
No.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than circumcision.
Yeah. I also like to brandish weapons at
nice.
Circle
He's
K.
got a whole.
Yeah.
Why is he pointing his guns at himself on his belly like that?
He shouldn't be. You know, this
look
is
at my
gun
shoes.
safety.
Look at my liquor.
Why does everyone have
My gun.
alcohol and guns in on their lap in St. Louis? St. Louis people, you guys gotta relax.
Because we're the coolest.
This belongs on I Am Very Badass.
Dude.
What an awful way to spend your New Year's Eve. Some woman died from a falling bullet. Not
Dude,
here,
is that
but
what
somewhere in the country that happened. I saw like a story because apparently it's not super uncommon for people to just fire guns into the air on New Year's Eve.
Maybe
It
not where
seems
you're
like
from.
Stupid.
that's a very expensive celebration.
There was a warning. So in a lot of places, that's the time of year where you can discharge firearms into the air. It's 4th of July, New Year's, have it up. In Gwinnett County here in Atlanta, they made a big deal. They're like, if we see you shooting firearms in the air, we're going to take the gun away. We're recommending 1 year of prison and fines. Because last year, a bullet went through a guy's roof, hit him in the head.
Killed him.
Killed him.
Oh, he's just probably watching, some mindless TV.
Watching the ball drop.
Yeah. 3,
10,
2,
9.
bang! He's just, the
Dude, that's
gypsy was wrong. I'm gonna make it.
it went through it. I wish I knew the angle, right? Because I feel
It
like
was probably, it's one of these.
it had to be.
It's 35 degrees. That's the thing, it's some basic math, some basic physics. If
This
you go
is
straight
complex
up,
math by my standards.
if you go straight up with a bullet, eventually it's like throwing a ball in the air, right? Versus throwing a ball at an angle. If you're throwing one from right field all the way to home plate, it's going to have some sting on it when it gets there. But if you throw one straight up in the air and let it stop and then just fall back down, it has a terminal velocity based on its mass.
That's where you're wrong. I've tested that theory, and I threw it from right field to home plate, and it just kind of rolled across, Kyle. It had no sting on it at all by the time it arrived.
It's that whole myth about dropping pennies off the Empire State Building, right? People are just going to get annoyed.
One of the big questions. So I'm not an expert on this,
That's
but
true.
I think that bullets are designed to sort of stay straight and pointed, whereas pennies tumble. So if I were to drop a bullet off the Empire State Building, I think it might do the aerodynamically worse thing. And
So a bullet has a better what's known as a ballistic coefficiency, and that's how well it cuts through the air, right? But all objects have a terminal velocity. The human body's terminal velocity is roughly 150 miles per hour, right? It's
And
gonna
that
depend
is
on
enough
two
to kill you.
factors.
Yeah.
Well, it's enough to kill the body that's falling at 150 miles per hour, and anything. I
and
guess
the target, yeah.
and the target. But
I'm such a
bullet
fucking idiot.
really
I never
doesn't.
considered that penny thing wasn't true. I guess I've never given it any thought.
Yeah,
but I
I
was like,
never
man,
thought about it either.
random deaths in New York would be outrageous
Some
if
guy
that was
just
allowed.
throwing a handful of pennies every day at his
We
window.
got a mass
Fuck
shooter,
you.
and it's a guy up there with like just a gym bag full of those
Ball
rolls,
bearings.
just opening them up. And
They're like, we
throwing
can't confirm
pennies.
anything other than the fact that he's definitely not Jewish. He's definitely not. He's been throwing pennies away this
Oh,
entire
Jesus,
time.
I was slow to catch on. But
There's
yeah,
someone out there,
pennies,
he's like, this is just a damn shame.
There's a
Jews
bunch
are
of
down
Jews
there
down
like-
below with helmets.
Yeah,
pennies,
Jewish Christmas. Yeah.
pennies tumble and flip around, whereas bullets, I think, would dive through the ground. And that, terminal velocity, like you mentioned, it's part weight, I think, but it's definitely part aerodynamic profile.
Yeah, it's mass and the aerodynamic profile, which in bullets is that fancy ballistic coefficient word.
Obviously.
But it still doesn't reach a speed that's deadly. I've been hit in the head with shot out of a shotgun that someone had shot at not a sharp angle, certainly not right at me. I know guys have been peppered, as they say, basically just
Buck
shot
or
at
bird?
Bird. It happens a lot when you're dove hunting because you've got a field full of guys. Some of them are drinking, and the bird, if a bird flies low enough, then the angle of your shotgun is obviously much lower, and so it could easily hit your buddy across the field. And
Yeah, that's how you
usually
Dick Cheney somebody.
That's how
I
you
went-
Dick Cheney somebody.
I went shooting pheasant like a couple
fun.
years ago. Yeah, and like what's crazy about that is, like women and children were in the bushes in front of you, a bit above you, and they're going up to the feeding spots and shaking the trees to fly the birds out. So like when you're ready, like we're there, and they're like women and children go, and they start shaking the trees, and so you're aiming at women and children shaking trees. You can't see them, but they're in the woods.
Yikes.
And then You just have to wait until it's above the tree line. Like that's it. That's when you shoot. But like also like we're drinking. The last time I held a gun was in like Kyle's backyard, like 7 years ago. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm like, there was like 3 times where I was just like, oh, I'm like, oh yeah, there's people in there. We're shooting at people, and they're just hoping that we aim up more.
Yeah.
Mythbusters did the bullet thing, and they agree with everything Kyle said. If you shoot it straight up and it comes down, it's only lethal in the case that it hits you in the eye, mouth, or ear hole. Okay.
Oh, that's most of my head.
A lot of holes in our heads.
Percentage-wise, no, it is not.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. It's mostly cranium here.
It also agreed with Kyle in that if you're just off straight up, you're pretty good. But the range at which things start to be bad was more than I thought. Like, even if you're above 45 degrees, it's still lethal on the way down. Like, you need to be much closer to 90.
Yeah.
There it is.
You really need to be straight up. And the problem is people don't know that. And you saw how these people were doing it.
Yeah, they were doing it lethally.
They're just,
all those
they're
St.
doing
Louis
it fairly
people?
lethally.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way they're shooting.
Some of them are almost shooting horizontally.
And bullets really go much, much farther than you would ever imagine. People are like, yeah, it probably goes to as far as I can see. No, it goes farther than that.
Yeah,
It goes farther than that. It goes
Picture how
over
far
that.
you could see. Further
well,
than that.
Well, if it's flat, you can see 25 miles, but they don't go that far. But you know, most
I see we got a
landscapes-
round earther.
Is there a gun?
I like the eye roll.
Is there a gun that does go that far?
Yeah, but they're like
Another
they're
bootlicking follower, you know,
naval guns on like destroyers and stuff. They
No.
shoot over
I
the
mean like
fucking-
that. Like a one guy can hold and put down. And
You
set
know,
up
I
or
don't know the
something.
maximum range of stuff like that. If you're just looping one, but my guesstimate would be about 12 miles or something like that.
for a gun, just a regular
Yeah.
gun.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I know like the warning on like 22 says like 5 miles. And I know that like one time we may or may not have let a 40 millimeter Bofors get away from us. And I was like, how far does that go? And he's like, about 9 miles. And I was like, no, what's 9 miles from here?
The
Horse
orphanage.
farms.
No,
The orphanage.
He's like, well, they got a horse farm over there with thoroughbreds. They're about $250,000 a piece. And I'm like, we gotta go.
get out of here. Pack this bitch up.
I looked up how far a 50 cal went. I was super curious. And it was less than I thought. It was 5 miles. Some guys were saying like as
Wow,
much as 8.
shit gun. What a shit gun.
No, I can't think of a normal gun that would go farther.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it really depends on velocity. It's all about velocity.
What kind of gun can
And
you
weight,
fire safely
right?
into the air in celebration?
No, because everything falls at the same rate, regardless of weight.
Ooh, I'm trying to process. You don't think
Yeah,
it'll slow down slower?
It will slow down slower.
If it's heavy.
That's a good point. Yeah, I suppose it would hold more. It would maintain its speed longer. It would have
Perfect.
better inertia.
Right,
if
right.
if it weighed more. It's probably a good reason for why those naval guns can literally shoot like 20 fucking miles or whatever they do.
But it'll fall faster in certain situations, right? Because it's not happening in a vacuum.
It'll fall the same speed as everything else within that same air density, humidity, etc.
I guess
Altitude.
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's right about that. And it sounds wrong, and I fought against that idea for forever, but it just keeps being true.
I'm pretty sure this goes back to Archimedes.
I know,
dropping,
well-
that feather and that lead weight off a tower, like literally a couple.
When everyone
thousand
was
years ago.
firing crossbows into the air in celebration of the summer solstice. Yeah, you
Welcome to summer solstice
Yes.
2.
The year 1. Yeah.
Lord the Witch. 3, 2, 1.